province prepares for wildfire season. Is Saskatchewan prepared for the firefight ahead? Boosting rural policing, what's in store for smaller services? And tunnel troubles, why one Saskatoon woman is raising safety concerns about a well-used walkway.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. We begin tonight with an outlook on this year's wildfire season. Public Safety Canada said 2025 had the second worst wildfire season in the country's history. As Jasmine Pelche reports, officials in our province are preparing, hoping to avoid a repeat of last year.
Despite how it looks outside the Saskatchewan Public Safety Provincial Response Centre, wildfire season began April 1st.
The agency continues to concentrate on prevention, readiness, and rapid response, working closely with local communities, partners, and emergency services. We trust their expertise and leadership to guide decisions throughout this season.
The SPSA held a technical briefing Wednesday on upcoming seasonal conditions and how the agency is preparing. The SPSA says wildfire detection tower staff arrived this week to begin spring training. For the 2026 season, the SPSA began hiring seasonal staff 1 month earlier than the year before, and the province is doubling the volunteer first responder tax credit. The agency says it has secured additional aircraft.
Conditions vary between regions, with the north and central Saskatchewan seeing good snow recovery and over the winter and cooler temperatures. In contrast, the southwest experienced extremely dry and warm weather with worsening drought conditions and little to no snowpack.
The provincial budget for 2026-27 has earmarked an additional $20 million for the SPSA for a total $140 million. The agency is encouraging citizen preparedness and says that about half the fires in the province are human-caused.
It is critical for every person and every community to have an emergency plan in place.
During last year's wildfire season, which destroyed hundreds of homes and led to the evacuation of thousands of residents, the province declared a state of emergency. The province's budget update for the third quarter of 2025-26 says that protection of persons and property is up $392 million, largely due to wildfire and evacuation activities across the province and increased expenditures for custody services. A third-party review on last year's wildfire season is still in progress. Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Prince Albert.
Saskatchewan spent the day digging out from the latest storm. The system that swept across the province dropped anywhere from 15 to 30 centimeters, depending on the area. Meadow Lake was under the thick of it, with Environment Canada estimating 37 centimeters, or more than 14 and a half inches of snow falling. Prince Albert and Saskatoon dealt with a similar blast of winter, with parts of Saskatoon seeing 16 centimeters and Prince Albert dealing with 18. And even though it's April, Environment Canada says storms like this are more common than you might think.
At this time of year, during the shoulder seasons, we typically do get some of the strongest low pressure systems tracking across the prairies, because we still have that cold Arctic air up north, but we can tap into more of the warm, moist energy from the Pacific and from the south.
More snow could be on the way this weekend. While Prince Albert and Saskatoon will likely get a mix of rain or flurries, areas further north may see up to 10 centimeters of snow. This latest blast of snow making things slick on city streets and Saskatchewan highways. RCMP say between 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon and noon today, officers responded to 78 collisions across the province, including along Highway 16 near Delmas. A handful of semi-trucks jackknifing, ending up in the ditch. The snow, freezing rain and wind, all contributing factors to the crashes. RCMP say no serious injuries or fatalities were reported. They are reminding people, even though the forecast has improved, drivers should always check the forecast and highway hotline before heading out. Snow quickly became slushy and quite liquidy earlier today.
Yeah, if you're on the roadways, you certainly feel, can speak to that, because the dark color of the asphalt, holding on to the radiant heat of the sun, because temperatures across the province were in many places below seasonal, and yes, even on the minus side of things, but things did warm up on the roadways and sidewalks. But there's still plenty of snow out there that will still need to melt before we start seeing conditions as we had just 24 hours, or let's say 36 or 48 hours ago. But right now, that system, that big old low that impacted our province, that continues to make its way across Manitoba, the Northern Plains states, parts of the Midwest, and into the Great Lakes region, so they can deal with that mess. We are going to see a bit of a high pressure area build in, and that will bring us a little bit of relief, and we'll talk about how long that relief is going to last and whether or not temperatures are on the rise later on.
A boost today for policing in the province. Small town and rural police services in Saskatchewan are getting a financial boost through a new provincial grant. CTV's Stacey Hine now on what it means for community safety.
5 police services will now receive provincial funding through the Small Town and Rural Police, or STAR, grant. The program was announced in last month's provincial budget, with $190,000 set aside this year. Under it, services will receive $10,000 per officer.
We just recognize that small town and rural police services need some assistance as policing becomes more and more complex.
The community safety minister says the funding model is based on service size, with larger forces receiving more support due to higher costs.
It's an objective way of setting a dollar value.
The Corman Park Police Service will receive the largest share, $110,000 for its 11 officers. Chief Robert Duchin says officers now deal with more complex cases and carry more equipment, so the funding will help with training and upgrades.
We want our officers to be capable, competent, and able to use every tool at their disposal, but we have to continue to resupply the tools.
Duchin says the grant is a small part of the service's roughly $2.5 million budget, but will help as it catches up on equipment and plans to hire 3 new officers by year's end. He also says it opens doors for more proactive policing.
We have that little bit of wiggle room to allocate some funds to get our members out proactively doing things that I really see as enhancing community and public safety in the RM.
Dalmany, Luseland, Vanscoy, and Wilton Police will also receive funding. Police in larger centres have received provincial funding since 2007, and the province says the STAR grant now extends that support to all police services in Saskatchewan. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Victim impact statements were read in court today during a sentencing hearing for a man found guilty of killing another man in 2024. In January, Timothy Smith was found guilty of manslaughter in the death of his friend Landon Waddell. Waddell died of his injuries he suffered during a fight at his home in November of 2024. Court heard an argument ended in Smith punching Waddell twice and kicking him, which caused him to hit his head on a coffee table. 8 victim impact statements heard today spoke to how Waddell's death has had a profound impact on his special needs daughter. Court heard she was 14 at the time and struggles to cope with the loss of her father. Smith is scheduled to be sentenced on Friday morning. Prince Albert police are investigating the death of a person found following a fire earlier today. Emergency crews were called just before 8 this morning to a home on 18th Street East. Once firefighters put out the flames, they searched the house and found the victim, who was pronounced dead at the scene. Major Crimes and the Coroner's Service are looking into the death to determine what happened. No other details have been released. A Saskatoon senior is calling on the city to improve what she describes as dangerous conditions in a pedestrian tunnel linking the Massey Place and Mount Royal neighborhoods. As Carla Shinkerick tells us, the city has said it is monitoring the situation, but that's providing little comfort.
At this time of year, it's quite treacherous.
This is what Deborah Edmondson deals with at least a couple times a week.
Well, the first thing is I say a little prayer to get through safely. It is a real challenge to get through, and I'm clinging onto the culvert.
She uses this tunnel to get from her Massey Place neighborhood under Circle Drive to the Mount Royal area, often to get to a class, and she used it for years to get to work because the alternative is out of the way.
I just wish this could be resolved so it's safe to go from one community to the other.
She's been dealing with this for 30 years, she said, contacting the city many times.
They check the tunnel locations every day, and they are aware of the water collects in the lower areas.
But she doesn't feel anything is improving. The city told CTV News this in a statement. The city continues to inspect tunnel locations every day as we run into this challenge every year during spring thaw. They're actively trying to keep water flowing during the freeze-thaw cycles. When necessary, the city will barricade tunnels. They're monitoring and will explore any other solution if possible.
It would be lovely to see a culvert or some kind of drainage system going into a culvert that actually drained the ice and water away.
So Edmondson says when the tunnel doesn't look like this, she can get from one end to the other in about 2 to 3 minutes. But with the unevenness and the ice, it can take her up to 10 minutes.
It's just kind of sad that we haven't solved this problem yet because it's been many, many years.
And she can't help but see a double standard.
Like if this was in front of my house, I wouldn't be allowed to have this ice on my sidewalk. I would probably get a warning and then possibly a ticket.
She likes to walk to stay healthy, but admits this makes it challenging. Plus, there's the reality of a spring melt.
It's going to be water, and I have walked through here when it's been water, and I would say it's been about 6 inches deep.
Carla Shinkaruk, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Saskatchewan has some long-standing rules when it comes to entertainment perceived as nudity. So when the Chippendales tour stopped at TCU Place last night, organizers had to be creative to allow drinks to be served. Kina Sorakhan explains.
As hundreds of women made their way to TCU Place to see the touring striptease dance troupe Chippendales, tucked away at the back of the lobby were some volunteers and puppies from New Hope Dog Rescue. This wasn't just some unusual partnership. It was an obligation under a decades-old rule in Saskatchewan.
Once you have a show, like I said, that has that active stripping going on, the regulations basically say that if you're going to do that, you really can't open a bar of any kind.
The only way you can go out and see naughty bits while enjoying a drink in Saskatchewan is if the bar benefits a charity, and it can only be done once a year.
Oiled up male dancers and some fuzzy dogs on the same site. I thought, how could we ask for a better Tuesday?
The strange circumstances weren't lost on organizers, given the many places bars are allowed to operate.
People can drink in a million venues in Saskatchewan, and they can do it from 10 or 11 in the morning till 2 a.m. We're talking about a 100-minute window where people have paid money to come see a show.
Saskatoon's struggles with alcohol in public date back to its origins. Founded by the Temperance Colonization Society in 1883, the city was meant to be a utopia. Its first liquor permit was swiftly taken away. Prohibition stopped all public drinking for 20 years, and liquor laws weren't modernized until 1960, moving from beer parlors to licensed dining rooms, restaurants, and lounges.
So if you were a woman in Saskatchewan, you couldn't drink in public until 1960 when there was a major liberalization of the liquor laws.
Laws weren't opened up again until 2014, but stripping or nudity of any kind always had pushback. Saskatoon's most famous case was Showgirls, which tried fighting its case to serve alcohol all the way to the Supreme Court. These court battles helped it stay open a little while longer, and it even tried opening a bar in the same building, separated by these doors, with drinking on one side and the strip show on the other. But even it closed for good more than 2 decades ago. And since the beginning, history shows it's the demand of the people that has moved the needle.
Government has never really been interested in legislating liquor except for at the demand of the population.
Now those at the show are wondering if it's time to reconsider this strip and sip rule.
Well, it seems a little selective. I just thought it was okay.
Keenan Sorakhan, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Premier Scott Moe continues to enjoy majority approval in the latest Angus Reid poll. 51% of Saskatchewan residents surveyed viewed his performance favorably. But as Wayne Mantika tells us, many indicated their personal economic situation has worsened over the past year.
After 8 years in office, Scott Moe retains a high voter approval rating. The Angus Reid Institute surveyed 325 Saskatchewan residents in late March and found that 51% approved of Mo's performance. Nationally, Manitoba's Wab Canoe topped the list with an approval rating of 61%, followed by New Brunswick's Susan Holt at 54%, Mo at 51%, and Alberta's Danielle Smith at 46%. This comes amid growing concern about the economy. 44% of Saskatchewan residents said they are worse off economically than they were a year ago. The cost of living and health care were the top two issues for Saskatchewan residents surveyed, with jobs and the deficit further down the list. Opposition leader Carla Beck's approval rating was much lower than Mo's at 33%.
The same poll shows affordability is the number one issue for people in this province. Healthcare, jobs in the economy, those are the things that people care about. Those are the things that we are going to continue to connect on.
Despite concerns about the economy and healthcare, the survey found that nearly half of Saskatchewan residents were satisfied with the direction of the province. Angus Reid said that was among the highest levels of optimism in Canada. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
The province is expanding a program that brings breast cancer screenings directly to people in rural Saskatchewan. Damien Smith has more on the machine that aims to save lives.
Model number 2 of the mobile mammography unit is set to hit the road on Monday afternoon. The unit will travel across Saskatchewan, testing for potential breast cancer diagnoses.
In a 12-hour day, we can see 50 to 54 women every single day. So you think about what that does in terms of improving access for women in rural Saskatchewan, massive impact.
According to the Saskatchewan Health Authority, each appointment will take around 10 minutes.
The technologist will explain the exam, take a brief medical history, and really work to make sure the patient feels comfortable and knows what to expect.
People who go for regular screening, 75% of cancers detected are in earlier stage, meaning better treatment options, better health outcomes, better survival.
The 2 mammography units will visit 42 rural and northern communities across Saskatchewan this year and are expected to screen in between 6,000 and 7,500 patients. Each location visit will last for a week, reaching all corners of the province, from Maple Creek and Carlisle in the south to Pelican Narrows and La Loche in the north. This is the 3rd mammography unit in the province's history, with the first one starting in the early 2000s. That unit is no longer in service.
Because of its age, we weren't able to maintain like water service. So just being able to wash your hands and do some of that cleaning, it's a night and day improvement.
According to the health minister, both units will be able to reach a total of 15,000 women.
It's so important that women have access and can take their own health into their own hands and make that decision themselves without having to wait for a referral from a doctor.
According to the Canadian Cancer Society, 1 in 8 Canadian women are diagnosed with breast cancer at some point in their life. Damien Smith, CTV News, Regina.
A Métis woman is turning her grief into creativity, blending filmmaking and yoga as a form of healing. CTV's Laura Woodward has her story.
You're sitting up nice and tall.
Danielle Van Dale started Ella Studios, creating what she describes as art therapy.
It's an expressive arts therapy studio that is mobile in nature in terms of sometimes I'll be teaching yoga. Sometimes I will be filming in Métis and Indigenous communities.
Van Dale says the idea was born out of personal trauma. She says she lost custody of her adopted daughter, Ella, during a period of mental health struggles.
My daughter came to me in a dream. She put a crayon in my hand and said to go make beautiful things.
She channeled her grief into creativity, blending yoga and filmmaking.
And I could go down the road of addiction, depression, like all the mental health issues, or I can take the road of creativity. And it was hard, but I chose that road. And once I got there, I didn't realize how many other people had same stories, because you start to feel like you're alone in that grief.
Van Dale's films follow themes of pain, identity, and healing, often using nature and movement to tell the stories. She says her filmmaking work and yoga classes frequently take her into smaller Indigenous communities.
where mental health supports can be limited.
So it's kind of a mishmash and a mixing pot of healing modalities that people really need in these small towns.
Dandale says her goal is to help others work through their own difficult experiences. Laurel Woodward, CTV News, Waka.
Still to come, why the U.S. president is declaring victory. And the Liberals gain yet another seat. Who has crossed the floor now? You're watching CTV News live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us. The White House is declaring victory after Donald Trump announced a 2-week ceasefire in his war with Iran. This after the U.S. president threatened to destroy the country if Tehran didn't open the Strait of Hormuz. CTV's Joy Malbin has the details.
On the streets of Tehran, they chant death to America as the U.S. Secretary of War declared victory over Iran.
President Trump forged this moment. Iran begged for this ceasefire, and we all know it.
This 2-week truce looking shaky at best. Iran is still holding up hundreds of oil tankers in the Strait of Hormuz, effectively controlling global oil production in the Gulf.
The Iranian response is we're going to control it and put a toll on everybody. And there's no ceasefire. Literally within the past hour, Saudi Arabia has reported that its pipeline, which goes from the Gulf to the Red Sea, has been hit by a drone.
Blocking the strait, says Iran, is retaliation for Israel's continued attacks on Lebanon. Israel insists the ceasefire doesn't include their war against Iranian-backed Hezbollah. The fresh violence threatening to scuttle Washington's fragile truce.
And I will reiterate the president's expectation and demand that the Strait of Hormuz is reopened immediately, quickly, and safely.
President Donald Trump, who threatened to annihilate Iran just yesterday and back down, called this a big day for world peace, posting, "The U.S. will work closely with Iran, which we have determined has gone through regime change. There will be no enrichment of uranium."
So right now it's buried and we're watching it. We know exactly what they have. They'll give it to us voluntarily. We'll get it. We'll take it. We'll take it out.
Leaving many politicians wondering what this war was all about.
We have lost 13 American service members, hundreds of American service members wounded, thousands of people, innocent civilians throughout the region killed, prices going up, the American taxpayers paying $2 billion a day, and all for nothing.
The White House says Vice President J.D. Vance will lead in-person peace talks with Iran. The regime prefers him because of his past skepticism about Middle East wars. Joy Malbin, CTV News, Washington.
The Liberals are one step closer to a majority government with another Conservative crossing over. Longtime Ontario MP Marilyn Gladu becomes the 4th Conservative and the 5th MP to join Mark Carney's government. The shocking move comes ahead of Monday's 3 key by-elections. CTV's Graham Richardson reports.
Because of Marilyn Gladu, a Conservative MP.
Here's Marilyn Gladu as a Conservative back in 2023.
Our leader has been supportive of this bill all the way along. I want to thank him for that.
It is a great pleasure.
Cut to today.
I'm very happy to be the newest member of our new Liberal government.
A partisan defection that enrages Conservatives as the Prime Minister casts it as a country coming together to his side.
This all comes at a time when the country as a whole is uniting. Uniting to move forward, and it's important that over there we unite to move forward as well.
Pierre Poilievre tweeted, Gladu said that floor crossers should face voters in a by-election. I could not agree more. As recently as January, she told her local paper, we elected you under this banner, and if you don't want to be under that banner, then we deserve a chance to have a redo of the election. Sarnia is a border town that's known for oil refineries and some manufacturing connected to the auto sector. Some constituents here are not happy.
We thought absolutely no way would she cross. So now I'm wondering, why did she cross? What did Carney give her?
and explain it to your constituents.
Most Conservatives felt that way today, that Gladue would be the last to make a move like this.
Look at her social media feed. Up until just hours ago, she was trashing and attacking the Liberal government of which she's now proudly a part. This is very cynical and it's very odd.
But the red clothing at the photo op and broad smiles right inside the Prime Minister's office, another body blow to Tories.
So is this over? Don't bet on it. The party is about to start for Liberals. Their convention in Montreal begins tomorrow. So far, there have been no floor crossers from the province of Quebec, despite rumors swirling around this place for months. Graham Richardson, CTV News, Ottawa.
Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen was scheduled to receive a special long-distance call late this afternoon as the Prime Minister and Industry Minister Melanie Joly were expected to check in with the crew of Artemis 2.
Your friends and colleagues at the Canadian Space Agency wish you another great day on your voyage. Canadians everywhere are inspired by your journey, and we're with you every step of the way. Let's go.
Hansen and his fellow astronauts started day 8 of their mission with an 11:35 wake-up call that included a message from the Canadian Space Agency. At the time, the crew was about 322,000 kilometers from Earth and 134,000 kilometers from the Moon. Today, they focused on a number of tests before they return to Earth later this week.
The mission continues to go well as the crew prepares to transition back to Earth, and we get ready for entry day. After an exciting day of science on Monday and a day for the crew to recover and then achieve some other flight objectives yesterday, the team is turning our attention to the return and getting the crew safely home.
NASA says the astronauts sent this group photo to Mission Control today. The crew and controllers are preparing for Friday's return to Earth. The Artemis 2 astronauts are scheduled to complete their journey home at 8:07 p.m. Eastern Time off the coast of San Diego. The spacecraft will use 11 parachutes to slow its descent. After traveling more than 595,000 nautical miles, Orion will splash down in the Pacific Ocean 16 minutes after entering Earth's atmosphere. And the astronauts have been sending back some spectacular photos they have taken during the mission. And here's another one. It's a look at our galaxy, the Milky Way, following the crew's historic flight around the moon. It joins a number of other images released by NASA this week, including some showing the moon during the record-setting journey to the far side of our closest celestial neighbor.
And this coming Friday, April 10th, I will be at the Basement doing a one-night-only show with my quartet at 8:30 p.m. So buy your tickets at thebasement.ca. And speaking of basements, I'd really love to get out of mine and catch some fresh air. Jeff, what's the weather like out there?
Well, Barbara, we're kind of digging out right now. Temperatures are on the rise. So by the time you and the quartet get here by Friday for the big show at the Basement, it looks like temperatures are going to be pretty nice. 9 degrees is slightly above seasonal for Saskatoon this time of April. So it'll be a melty day, mainly cloudy conditions. And once again, showtime is 8:30. And we can tell you that, yes, we've got tickets available at thebasement.ca. And now making our way on to our temperatures currently in Saskatoon, -1. Didn't get any warmer than that. That's our daytime high. -1 on the plus side for Prince Albert, and -2 in the Battlefords. And as you can see, the winds have dropped off significantly compared to where we were 24 hours ago, certainly last night into early parts of today. -1, as I mentioned, was the 24-hour high. 8 degrees is typical for this time of year. 25, the record warm temperature, not in jeopardy of falling. That was set in 1977. The year of Star Wars. -23 in 1893, another long-standing record there. The sun came up at 6:26, and it's going to go down at 7:52.
Coming up, the Calgarian jumping at the chance to break a record. We meet a skilled skipper gaining leaps and bounds over the years.
Liberal Conservatives are striking a different tone in a new ad campaign. Thursday on Your Morning, we are in conversation with House Leader Andrew Scheer about it and those 3 key by-elections.
I'm sure that's not all you'll be asking him about. Anyhow, yes, some interesting times in Ottawa. We've got ourselves a big blue sky, a little bit of cloud along the horizon, and the possibility of some snow is there, but if it does show up, it will be on the light side. Certainly nothing like what we dealt with in the last 24 hours. That system getting out of here. In behind it, bit of a high-pressure area, high-pressure system. That's one of the reasons why we had the sunshine today. A couple of disturbances rolling in behind that high, so we'll keep our eye on that as we make our way into Thursday. Let's take a look at our numbers once again, just to recap. -1 in Saskatoon, 1 on the plus side in Prince Albert, and -2 in the Battlefords. On to our hot and cold spot. That was they were both from up north. 5 degrees in South End. Key Lake, the cold spot at -27. Currently, it is 0 degrees in Lloydminster, -1 in Swift Current and Estevan, -2 in Regina and Yorkton. Into central parts of the province, temperatures ranging from 3 on the plus side down to -3. That's in Watrous and Wynyard. A lot of places, though, basically sort of hanging around that 0 degree mark. Making our way up north, look at these temperatures. You know, the dark coniferous forest holding on to that radiant energy of the sun helps to warm things up, and look at that. Temperatures are ranging from 1 to 4 degrees in northern Saskatchewan, so it is warm up north and warm down south. Well, let's say in the southwest. 4 degrees right now in Maple Creek, 2 in East End, but it does drop off onto the minus side of the thermometer as we make our way towards the central and eastern parts of the province, basically around -2 degrees for many locations. The futurecast indicating that we've got ourselves a few disturbances sliding through Saskatchewan, but just look how far apart those pressure lines are, so we're not expecting much in the way of wind at all on Thursday. On to our map with the alerts, and I just wanted to point out that, yes, there are still snowfall warnings in effect, but as I mentioned, that system has moved into Manitoba and northern Ontario, and they are dealing with the heavier parts of that storm. Cloudy skies in northern Saskatchewan tomorrow, temperatures ranging in this part of our map from -4 degrees in Stony Rapids up to 3 on the plus side. That's in La Ronge. 3 degrees in Spiritwood, 4 in Meadow Lake, 7 in Kindersley and Rosetown, 7 and in Outlook and Swift Current, 9 in Maple Creek and Leaders, so basically in that region around 8 degrees. A similar situation for much of the southeast, although on the northern edge of the southeast, Yorkton at 3 degrees, 2 degrees in Melfort and Watrous, 1 in Humboldt, and 4 degrees on Thursday in Hudson Bay. Dropping down to -6 overnight in the Battlefords, 3 degrees tomorrow for a high, and then into Friday, 9 degrees, 10 on Saturday, 7 on Sunday, but dropping off to 4 on Monday, but bouncing back significantly on Tuesday with a high of 11. Prince Albert, some light snow or periods of light snow tonight, -7 degrees, 4 on the plus side for tomorrow, and then 6 Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We got ourselves 2 degrees on Monday, 7 on Tuesday, and a possibility of a rain-snow mix on Wednesday with a high of 6. And then finally for Saskatoon, we've got ourselves an overnight temperature of -5 degrees. Chance of some flurries as those disturbances slide through the province, but 4 on the plus side. That's still about 4 degrees below seasonal, but warming up to above seasonal temperatures on Friday and Saturday, basically around 10 degrees, 7 on Sunday. Lots of melting going on this weekend. 3 on Monday, so cooling off, but bouncing back to 11 on Tuesday and Wednesday. A judge has handed down a 15-year sentence to a woman who pleaded guilty to selling actor Matthew Perry the ketamine that killed him in 2023. The 42-year-old Jasmine Sangaya, as commonly known as the ketamine queen, became the 3rd defendant sentenced of the 5 people who have pleaded guilty in connection with the fatal overdose of the 54-year-old Friends star. She is the one person whose plea deal included an acknowledgement of causing Perry's death. He was found dead in a hot tub at his Los Angeles home 3 years ago.
You will not be so nice when we beat you.
That's not happening.
The creator of Heated Rivalry is hinting at a longer future for the hockey romance series. The smash hit Crave show tells the story of 2 pro hockey players who find themselves in an unexpected relationship. It's based on the Game Changers series by author Rachel Reed. Season 2 is due next year, covering the book The Long Game. But show creator Jacob Tierney hinted to Deadline that, quote, there's a lot of material, end quote, in the book, and it might be too much to fit into just one follow-up season. Crave and CTV are divisions of Bell Media.
Hi, my name is Peter Parker.
Tom Holland is sharing details about some last-minute changes to the latest installment of the Spider-Man series. Spider-Man Brand New Day sees Peter Parker finding his way in a world that's forgotten he exists while still facing off against new threats. In an interview published today, Holland told GQ that he'd been in London to shoot some additional scenes. The actor said they were intended to add in some more humor and to help flesh out a villain's plot line. The trailer dropped last month and became the first in history to garner 1 billion views. Brand New Day hits theaters July 31st.
All right, Jeff, time for Big of the Day. You've got a little bit of variety for us.
We do. Some of it very snow-oriented. We're going to start off with this one. It is a before and after picture. This comes to us from Calvin. This is a collage of the view from our front window in Birkdale. One from April 6th, obviously that's on the left, and the other from today, April 8th. Yes, a study in contrast to be sure. So thank you for showing that, sending us that before and after, Calvin. Next one comes to us from Sandra. This is from south of Star City. The squirrel has its tunnel shoveled out. The rest of us may take a bit longer to dig out from this one. So you can see that little... that squirrel poking its head out of the ground there. Some birds there. And look at that. You got a woody woodpecker there on the bird feeder and getting some action as well. So thank you, Sandra, for that image. And finally, from Tina, hello. I'd like to wish my parents a happy 54th wedding anniversary today. Henri and Denise Giroux from Christopher Lake. And here's when they got married. And here they are today, or very recently. So congratulations. We certainly want to applaud them on their 54th wedding anniversary as well. Thank you for sending in that picture, Tina. And if you'd like to share an image with us, you can do so by sending it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca. Please put pick of the day in the subject line.
Still to come on CTV News, roping in the records, how one Calgary competitor is skipping past his peers. An 18-year-old from Calgary is skipping his way into the record books. He started when he was a child, and as Glenn Campbell reports, he's set to compete in a national championship in BC next month, where he's jumping at the chance to take top spot.
Nathan Leung started rope skipping back in Hong Kong when he was 7 years old.
I remember trying jump rope for my first time in my lunch break, and a teacher saw my potential, so that she just brought me in the school team, and I represented Hong Kong when I was at a young age.
When Nathan and his family moved to Canada, he stopped jumping rope for 4 years. When he picked up the rope again, he didn't miss a beat.
I like this sport because it's really different compared to the other sports. This is really a creative sport. You can come up with new tricks, and you can even make your own trick. I really enjoy the community in jump rope too, because everyone just supports each other no matter which team you're on.
At the recent Provincial Jump Roping Championships in Calgary, Nathan was skipping to new records. In the 30-second speed event, he recorded 100 jumps, setting an Alberta record and tying a Canadian record. In the triple unders event, he tied an Alberta record with 203 triples. And in the 3-minute speed endurance event, Leung had 490 jumps, setting a national record.
Yeah, I was really surprised at first because it didn't feel like I broke the record, but then after looking at the scores, I was just amazed.
Hallie Borden coaches at Skip Squad and also competes. She helps put the 3-minute speed endurance event into perspective.
They're only counting his right foot, so he got 490 right foot jumps. For comparison, myself, been in the sport for 13 years, my personal record is 395.
Nathan's goal is to get to the Worlds and medal. Rowan Reef is another coach at Skip Squad. He has no doubts Nathan will get there.
Absolutely. Nathan could be at Worlds in Norway in 2027 in the summer. It's extremely expensive to go. There's a big financial commitment. And it also depends a lot on his teammates if they can qualify as a team. It isn't just an individual sport. He could qualify individually, and he will.
Glenn Campbell, CTV Sports, Calgary.
When we come back, Saskatoon gets a chance to get in on the FIFA celebrations. And later, the bird in need of a blessing.
Welcome back. Time to check in on the rural forecast, and far cry from what we were talking about yesterday. Today we're talking about tomorrow, and tomorrow it's looking warm in many places. Now, above seasonal? Not really. In fact, temperatures are below seasonal, but they are on the plus side of the thermometer, and there doesn't look like there's any precipitation of any consequence in any of these locations on this part of our map. 7 degrees in Outlook in Kindersley, 4 in Hudson Bay, 4 in Meadow Lake. Meadow Lake, of course, got a lot of snow. I think 37 centimeters is what Environment Canada reported. Down south, many locations hovering around that 8-degree mark, but as we make our way towards the eastern side of the province, things do drop off. Temperatures do drop off. Just 2 degrees for a high tomorrow in Kenora. And so, yeah, a bit on the chilly side there. Vibank tomorrow, 4 degrees under cloudy skies. The winds will shift around a little bit, but they're not particularly strong in the morning, but they do pick up in the afternoon. So a windy afternoon in Vibank and a high of 4 degrees. And Vibank is one of the places where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from Sasktel.
The Saskatoon Mamba have signed a pair of players from the University of Saskatchewan Huskies. Easton Tim and Mohamed Mahadi were added to the Mamba as part of the CEBL's signing day. The league announcing its new format of adding 2 intercollegiate student athletes per team, which will replace the CEBL draft. Tim finished his 3rd season with the Huskies, starting in 20 games. He also suited up in 1 game with the CEBL Saskatchewan Rattlers. Mahadi played at Central Wyoming College before playing his 1st season at the University of Saskatchewan. The season begins May 14th when the Mamba hosts the Vancouver Bandits at Sasktel Centre. Saskatoon has been chosen as one of the communities to host FIFA World Cup celebrations. On July 4th, the Canada Celebrates FIFA World Cup 2026 countrywide tour will make a stop in Saskatoon. Fans can take in free activities, watch some of the soccer matches live, as well as enjoy music and food. 34 communities are set to host the festivities as a way to allow Canadian fans outside of Vancouver and Toronto to be part of the highly anticipated sporting event. The FIFA World Cup 2026 runs June 11th to July 19th and will be hosted by Canada, the U.S., and Mexico. Toronto and Vancouver are Canada's host cities. Turning to local gas prices now, the average price in Saskatoon just over $1.72 a litre. The lowest price in town is $1.66.9. On Saskatchewan markets, Cameco jumped $7.45. Nutrien finishing the day at $103.70. Coming up, the bird call that is turning heads. Then the mammoth machine taking to the ice.
Select Hair Service is brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here tonight on CTV, starting at 7 with The Floor. Well, a raven was caught on camera mimicking a rather human-like sound. Yes? Did you hear that?
Yes, I did.
A loud sneezing sound, and it did come from that raven. Huxley the raven, however, isn't actually sneezing. He's just mimicking the sound from one of the people working at the Crow Rescue Society in Prince George. Not only can he make sneezing noises, he can also say his own name. So he makes fun of people. And
now, is Huxley a long-time resident of this sanctuary?
I have not done any research into Huxley. I'm so sorry.
Well, I'm writing a children's book about him, so don't take the idea.
I won't.
Huxley, the genius raven.
I won't. All right. You might enjoy this next one. I don't think it's book-worthy, but the Utah Mammoth is unveiling its new Zamboni, which is unlike any other in the league. They've named it Zamoth. It's actually the Zamboni that was used in the 2002 Salt Lake City Winter Olympics. Zamoth made its debut on the ice last night. And fun fact, up to 8 fans can ride the machine at a time. Actually, that could be a character in a children's book.
Of course it could. Exactly.
He's got his own little mascot.
I know. I think so. I think, unfortunately, I had to change the name. Otherwise, I had to pay some royalties to the Utah hockey team.
Yeah.
There we go.
Do you think they're wearing seatbelts in there? They should be.
It's Utah. No rules, unless it comes to drinking. And then there's plenty of rules anyhow. Okay. Let's go and take a look at this. I don't have time for this. Can tell you it's going to be a decent day tomorrow.
It's going to be more melty.
A little bit more melty.
Just say melty. That's all we need to know. Thanks for watching.